Pam, I don't like that I can't see your face.
I know, it's so weird. I'll full disclosure, everybody, I'm not hiding. It's just, see, I'm frozen and it's
Yes, you
highly
are.
annoying. So, well, it's annoying to watch myself in the little clip, so I can only imagine like other people watching. Who is that person that's freezing? And I froze in a couple of unflattering moments last today, like that, mouth wide open. So I think I'm just going to turn it off and ease everybody's distractibility.
At least it's just the video and not the voice, because it's even harder to understand if it's the voice.
That is correct. Yeah, I agree. But we're not going to hear much from me or Alicia today. We've got lots of contributors from around the county, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's great. I always love that.
Yeah. So Alicia, I have those video clips, the YouTube video clips that you wanted to share just ready. So you'll tell me when we want to put those in the chat.
Okay, sounds good.
And I can introduce that little video from Becky's whenever you think it's appropriate.
Okay, sounds great. So we are 1 minute. I shouldn't even ask because Pam, I know that you have your timer set because you always
for
do.
2 o'clock. It chimes away for us.
My dog has been sleeping for like the last hour. I was hoping that he would stay up and then sleep during the session, but I feel like as soon as we start, he's gonna get up and be annoying.
It's like, it's showtime. I got to make an appearance.
I'm ready.
Oh, there's my little chime.
There. Thank goodness for Pam.
It's supposed to be the get up and stretch and exercise alarm, and I don't use it for that.
Terrible.
It's not as easy to do nowadays, the get up and stretch and move away from your computer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get started. So happy Wednesday, everyone. We are so glad that you are here. It's a gorgeous day out there. I hope it looks a little bit cloudy. What's it looking like where you guys are?
It's a little cloudy. Yeah, a little cloudy today too, like just kind of a white sky.
Yeah, I got to get the grass cut, so it needs to hold off until after. Okay, so let's start with our territorial acknowledgement.
We acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered is part of the traditional territory of the Chippewa, Odawa, Potawatomi, and Delaware nations. These indigenous nations, known as the Anishinaabeg and Lenape, agreed through their ancestral languages to the mutual sharing of the land with obligations and responsibilities to the environment. Today, these responsibilities and obligations extend to all peoples.
Okay, so again, welcome. I'm Alicia, and we are joined again by my partners in crime and lots of other partners in crime this week. Pam is with us. And
Good afternoon.
I can't see her.
I
don't know. It feels so weird. Jen, hi, Jen.
Hi.
So, and we, as Pam said, are so excited. We have tons of guest teachers today, so we're really excited to get moving, and we have lots kind of crammed in, so we're gonna move right along. So our plan today, we're kind of do a check-in, see how you're doing. We have a cute little video that we're gonna share with you. We then are going to talk about some virtual choice boards that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week. And then we have some teachers who are going to help us do kind of a question and answer about Google Meets that maybe you've heard back from some families. And then the feedback form, and that will conclude our hour. So just before we get started, I found this little picture. It's actually from Kids Help Phone, but it kind of resonated with me when I saw it. If plan A doesn't work out, the alphabet has 25 more letters. So just thinking, you know, we have these plans and we think we know what's going to work, and having to kind of change and revamp how we're feeling. So it's always a work in progress, especially at this kind of crazy time in education. So we thought we'd kind of start with that. And in the chat, maybe if you want to share either an emoji of how you're feeling, you know, teacher well-being is also just important as how our students are feeling. Maybe if you don't have emojis, you can maybe just type a word. How are you feeling? How are you doing? We want to know how that is. And Pam's working the chat today, so she's gonna let me know how it's going in there.
I think we'll have the full gamut of emotions. Some people have got, the emotion I'm seeing is square, so I don't really know what that one is. My computer is not showing the emoji, but oh, I love this one. One of my friends described it as the Corona coaster. That's what I identify with. That is an excellent analogy. Yep.
I was on that coaster.
Yeah. Restless, I understand that one too, and tired. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's a weird kind of tired too. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that, but like we're carrying a heavy load, which sometimes we can't see. Like it's
for sure.
yeah, and it's okay until we started talking about next year already.
Yeah.
It's that is true. Like how far in advance can we talk about things is you know, I'm not ready to hear that. You know, I find when I'm stressed, I often think about, you know, in regular life, a 2-week window. Yeah, we can talk about that. And as I get stressed, it gets shorter and shorter. So yeah, thinking about September, it's a lot of changes from there.
Sure. Well, I think that's a perfect segue into this cute little video. Pam, do you want to give us kind of the background on this?
I will. So one of our LKDSB educators, her name is Becky Beach, and she spent some time in kindergarten classrooms, and she, like, kids have often described her as being like one of their favorite prep teachers. She just loves like Pete the Cat and just loves sharing things. And one thing she loves to do, she's also a writer, so she's been crafting that skill, but she has what she calls Becky Inks, and she just does these like little cute cards or Instagram posts, and this is her style, the aesthetic of like the stick figure people. And during this time that we've been doing distance learning and COVID, she's been sharing her emotions about how she's dealing with all of this. And I thought she did a whole little series about this. So if we could just press play on that, and just kind of the emotional roller coaster might be seen here. I just thought all those little images of the emotions hit right on the nail on the head some days. So I really wanted to thank her for sharing that with us.
Yes, that is adorable. She did a great job. Okay, so let's get going. So we are going to talk about choice boards first, kind of off the hop. And I'm sure that you have noticed there's a lot of kind of these choice boards. Some people are referring to them as Bitmoji or virtual classroom. Some people know them kind of as clickable pages. And we have a couple educators that I have noticed in the FDK world that have been using them and are doing a really great job with them. So I have a couple to share about their experience with choice boards and kind of just talk to us about their journey and how they created them. So first, Rosa, are you there with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Rosa.
Hi.
So Rosa, I noticed I like to sometimes snoop on all your cool activities that all the educators are doing on Seesaw. So I found this little choice board that Rosa had created. So I was hoping she would share, you know, what's linked to this and how she kind of went about creating it, or any struggles or challenges to doing it.
Well, this was my second one I've done. The first one I kind of modeled it after some of the ones that I've seen online. And so this is the one I completely did on my own. And luckily I had my daughter who's so much better at this than I am to help me out and guide me through it. So yeah, so I one of the things that I wanted to mention was that sometimes when you click on an image and you copy it onto the choice boards, you can see the background of the original image. And so one of the things that I wanted to mention today was, in order to avoid that, you want to use something called a PNG. And that will just highlight the image rather than the background. So, so that's why you can't see the backgrounds on all the different animals that you see there.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you click, and some of them will be a PNG that's just the image, and some of it will, so you have to kind of play with it and find the ones that will work.
Yeah, so can I go, do you mind if I click on one of them? I'm gonna see if I can go out and find. So when I click on this, which one do you want? Do you have a preference as to which one I click on?
No, you can click on any one of them. I try and do a variety of different activities. So I might do a song or a game or just a variety of different things, something to learn about. So that's any one of those. Sorry, my cat's going to join me.
So I clicked on the duck and it brings it just to this super simple songs page. And we know how much our kiddos love to sing those songs. So it's nice to still have this.
Little ducks went out one day, and far away.
Now I won't make you sit through the whole thing, although I wonder how many of you are actually singing along out there. This one, when I click on this frog here, I really liked this one, Rosa. Where did you find this from?
The frog, I just found that on YouTube. So I just looked up, because we've been learning about tadpoles and frogs. And luckily I did this video because the tadpoles I collected from my backyard have died. So this was good. But yeah, I just found it online on YouTube.
And then I see that you put it into SafeTube. And how do you do? People aren't sure.
So you just go onto the YouTube, whatever YouTube video you want, and you highlight the link. And then you go into Safe YouTube and you put it into it says generate a safe link, and you copy it, and it does that. And then you copy the link that it generates and you click it onto the image that's in your choice board.
Okay, awesome. So when you put it into Seesaw Activity, it's nice because people can use this template, and sometimes it's, again, it's just that not having to recreate the wheel. So we appreciate that one being here.
I did want to mention something about making it available on Seesaw. So when you're saving it, you want to make sure that you save it, you generate a link on it, rather than, because when I was first doing it, I was finding it was just creating a just a page without the links on it. So you have to actually save it in Google Slides as to upload it, to be able to upload it. So if you can click onto the Google Slide image, can you get that to that from your page? Actually, if I can share my screen, I can show you how, because I'm in the middle of doing one right now.
For sure.
Okay, so let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Are we doing it now?
Yep, so if you go to the bottom, if you go to share screen.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm working on this one right now. And so it's all finished. So what you do is you go to File here, and you go down to Publish to the Web.
We don't see it yet. So that
Yeah,
share screen button, once you hit share screen at the bottom of the screen, you'll have a few options of whatever's open on your computer that you can
Okay,
choose.
so where do I see the share screen button?
It's at the bottom of your screen if you're on a regular computer.
Mm-hmm.
If you hover there, it says share screen. And
No,
if you click that, it should give you the options to share anything that's open on your computer.
in the Zoom section?
Yep, it's in Zoom. So you need to go back to make sure Zoom is running, because if you've clicked off to run the app, your Zoom menu's disappeared. So find Zoom on your menu and click on it. Make sure you're back at Zoom. And then if you hover at the bottom of the screen, you should see the menu appear.
Okay, so maybe I should have practiced this ahead of time.
I love the winging it. This is the best part.
So if I don't get to you, if you go onto the, in the Google Drive, on the file part on the left-hand side, you can click on it and you can see where it says Publish to the Web.
Okay.
So you publish that, and then you use the link that comes up with that, which will, hold on, I'm almost there, which will allow you to share it onto your screen. Oh, here we go.
Do you want me to stop sharing again, Rosa?
Yeah, stop sharing, and let's try this again.
Okay.
All right, can you share? Can you see my screen now?
No, we can still just see you.
Okay. Anyway, so that's one way to, that's the way that you need to do it in order to be able to share it onto Seesaw anyways. So you go to File, and you click on File, you scroll down till you see Publish on the Web, and that will allow you to publish it and get the link to be able to put it onto your Seesaw.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Now, you also had this activity that I wanted to ask you about. So this choice board here, this outdoor fun.
Yep.
I was curious about, and actually the crew and I were talking yesterday about this drawing of the hopscotch.
That's just a PNG as well. So I found a PNG, I put it on there, and then I turned it around so it was sideways and fit better on the screen.
Okay, so you found that on when you did a search, and then you were able to put it on. We wondered if you drew it.
No, I'm not that good. I'm still learning.
I don't know. I think that's pretty fantastic.
So Alicia and Rosa, just a couple of things. So Rosa, you said the PNG image. So when we search for images rather than a JPEG, we pick for PNG images. Okay,
right.
And then we'll remove the black background. And Sansia said you can also use remove.bg. So I'm assuming BG is background. We'll take the image and remove the background. So I haven't used that one, so maybe she can chime in and tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I've not used that one either.
Okay. And then you said you found images on videos on YouTube, and then use the safe YouTube to help process to protect our students a little bit more.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So great tips on that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so I just want to keep kind of moving. So because we do have, as I said, a lot to share, and I have questions about Google Meets. Rosa, thank you so much for sharing those. And I love just the opportunity for kids to kind of engage with the screen, and there's lots of things to click around and brings. I was excited when I clicked on them. I wanted to know what I was going to get. So that was exciting.
Awesome.
And one more question. So the question is, has the entire choice board, do you build it in Google Slides and then publish it?
Yeah, I build it in Google Slides and then publish it, and then I'm able to put it on, and then I'm able to upload that link onto Seesaw.
Okay.
And if I have a chance, if we have a few minutes, I can try to walk through how to quickly create that on Google Slides. But we also, Pam is going to share some links in the chat that there's little video tutorials. There's tons of the ones that she will share are the ones that I used, and they're really easy to follow, but it takes a lot of like pausing and trying and going back. Once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. So if we get a chance, I'll walk you through it. And if not, those links are there to check out. Okay, Sansia, see.
Sorry, you cut out there.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So do you want?
I'm sorry, it's chopping up on me and I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. I know my
That's okay.
a little bit wonky. Do you want to tell us about this choice board?
So it's just I had found robin's eggs in my backyard, and so we got on a conversation of robins. So it's just a video in Safe YouTube all about robins that I found on YouTube, and then how to draw a robin on a YouTube video. And then I went and found a book on Epic about robins. And what I did was I believe for that one I used QuickTime, but you could use an app like Screencastify. And I just showed it on my screen and recorded myself reading it. In order to insert it into a Google Slide document like a choice board, you have to upload your video to Google Drive. So that's the only way it'll let you insert a video is if through Google Drive. And just like a tad bit of information, you need to go into your Google Drive video and make it shareable with anybody who has a link. Otherwise, like when I first published a choice board, when people would click on it, it says you don't have permission to view this. So you want to make sure that you allow them, as long as they have a link, that they can view that. And you have to do that right in your Google Drive.
I think
yeah.
Those are two really important keys there. Is number one, uploading your video into your Google Drive. And that can take a little bit of time, but also making sure that you are changing those sharing options, because that again is something that will cause. So thanks for bringing those up.
Yeah. And I don't know, the remove background, I don't know if you want me to touch on that, but if I can share my screen.
For sure.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll try again. Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna move this. Sorry, I have all kinds of stuff open. So what I did was I downloaded the image and then you upload it and it removes any background. And then you can take this image that they've created and you just download the image that they've created. And it will remove, like, sometimes even with the PNG, the white will still be there in the background. And this way it will just remove it and it will just be the bird. And the other thing I could show you real quick, what Rosa was talking about, maybe. I have too much stuff open. Was right here when you go to publish your choice boards, it's right here, publish to the web. And then I think because I already have a link created, it will say create link and you hit OK. And then this is the link that you copy and paste into Seesaw.
I think that's clarifying a question that we have coming in. We don't need every student's Google name for them to view this. Like, you're taking the link and adding it to Seesaw as an activity.
Yeah, it's just, and for the sharing on Google Drive, you don't need the student's link either. It's just a option that you change right in your video.
Right. So only the teacher has to make those changes in Google, and if it's open up to everybody, they don't even see Google. They're still contained within.
No, I don't know that I'll be able to do it right now fast enough for you, but if you have a video, you just need to go and change the privacy settings. When you go to share, you just change this to anyone with the link can view. right here.
And if those don't come up for you, see the advanced in the bottom right-hand corner, like, so you can have another view at that too. So that's excellent advice.
Yeah.
Great. Now, Santia, while you're there, did you want to share that 3D geometry board that you had as well?
Oh, I can. I just closed it, but
Oh,
sorry.
Well, while you're working away on that, people are saying your hints are game changers for them. So you can see that as some time sharers.
Okay. And this is just a 3D shape board. Again, it's all links. This one, oh, I don't know why it's not. Oh, there we go. To, like there's a link to a TVO math game, I think, or PBS, some kind of math shape game, a video about 3D shapes and a story about 3D shapes.
what I like about this one is that it gives them, so with one page, you've shared one activity and it kind of gives them 3 different mini activities to do within that. So when you give them this one page, there's not so many, you know, clicking through different slides or doing this seesaw activity, submitting it, doing this activity. So it all kind of puts it on one page, which I really like.
Yeah, and do you find like you get a lot of participation?
Not exactly, because we don't have much participation in class in general right now. The other little tidbit of advice that I would give is when you publish your link, I would do it as a multimedia instruction or example. That way, after, you can still add in a template for students to respond on. I don't know if many people know this. It was something I learned along the way. So like, I can say, tell me your favorite part of a story on one template, or, you know, take a picture of the bee learn to draw or the robin, and they can upload that there too. But if you, at first I was just publishing them as templates. I didn't realize that if you did the multimedia, it would work the same, but better.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Also,
So adding, you put your choice board in as multimedia, and then you can still put some sort of a template for them to be able to find based on those activities.
Yes.
when you are adding it as a multimedia instruction, make sure you don't save it as a Google. I believe it's the choices, save it. I can't remember the 2 choices, but don't save it as a Google, which is was my first thought to do, but save it as a whatever the other option was. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, I am I still sharing my screen?
You are.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So when you paste and you hit OK, this always comes up. I don't know why. You just hit continue.
Yeah.
I think that's what she was talking about.
Is that what you mean, Rosa?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thanks, Sancha.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be an update for Seesaw that, you know how when we have the whiteboard, you can add in pictures and text and that sort of piece. With the new update, you'll be able to add a video on those pages, which I think will be an exciting change. And that's happening in June, but we're wondering about if teachers update their Seesaw and be able to put the videos in, will students be able to view the videos without updating their app? So, and then there's a whole question about who does the updating of the app, if they have a family iPad or if it's a board issued one. So not really sure how that's going to play out yet. So even though we might get excited about putting the video function in, our students may not be able to read it just yet. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we were kind of going through this, and I thought, was thinking about the intentionality and the routine within our classroom. So I know one thing is wanting to maintain and give students the opportunities to still have the same tools at home as they do in the classroom. So and I think about it, I think about math and the manipulatives that are in our classrooms. So they have pattern blocks to build with, they have 10 frames, and they have, you know, dice. So I was thinking about how we could use these choice boards or clickable pages to help provide those opportunities to have those tools that they still can use at home. So I wondered if anyone has any ideas around this, what kind of routines maybe we could use to maintain at home.
I like the idea that you're trying to recreate your classroom. Like, you know, if you were to make your choice board, why not start with a view that you're familiar with? Like, where is your smart board? Where's your little chair? Where are your shelves? That sort of thing. So I find that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Karen,
And I know,
message. Karen
yeah.
Lockhart, yeah, she said morning message.
Mm-hmm.
What about a little sign in?
I could maybe put, whether it's a picture of me or a Bitmoji or whatever, add a link there of me just recording a little, you know, good morning, boys and girls. Today is Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. And then again, that's part of the routine that they can kind of get used to.
I could see you posing questions. What day of the week is it? So then you don't have to say it's Wednesday, but they could say it's Wednesday today. But if somebody doesn't get there until Friday,
yeah,
you're still right.
And when I created this one here, the pattern blocks that are on the board, they actually link to that math learning website in which they can use the Mathies app, either on a web or using the app version, and they can actually create a picture. So that for the pattern blocks, I had them there. Also the 10 frames linked to that same website. And then over on the table where I put the 2 dice, that connects you to Toy Theater. So they have the option to roll those dice. So just giving them those tools that they have in their classrooms still to use at home, even though it's virtually. Okay. And any ideas that you guys are sharing today, we are going to put up in a shared doc, and we will share it with you next week so that we can kind of compile a list of, you know, how to use these clickable pages within your classroom with some ideas. And we're also going to do the same with the Google Meets so that you can have that as a resource. Okay. Any other questions or comments, Pam?
Just people are loving the view out your classroom window.
Wouldn't that be glorious?
Isn't that lovely? And Danielle has shared another virtual manipulative site. So
great.
I love when people are sharing. They must think there's some good parts to it.
Absolutely.
No, we're ready
Okay.
to go on.
Yeah, so we're at the halfway point. We are going to switch gears a little bit. So Jen and Karen are going to kind of take over here and talk a little bit with some panel members about Google Meet. You ladies ready?
I'm ready. So for this next segment, we're going to focus on Google Meets, and we have assembled a group of ladies willing to share their experiences with us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. To help people like myself get started. Full disclosure, Heather and I have really struggled with wrapping our heads around online, or live learning that is. Our biggest concerns being privacy and equity for ourselves and the students. And so far we haven't had anyone choose option 1, but that doesn't mean that they won't change their minds later on. So we really want to be prepared for that. So having said that, I have the wonderful Karen Lockhart with me to ask some questions and help me navigate our way to setting up these Google Meets. Karen, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jen. We haven't been doing Google Meets, and we have had some families come back and said they want number 1, so we got to get ourselves in gear and start going.
You got us.
Yep.
And so we have another Karen Kirkendall joining us. Did I say that right? Please tell me.
You got it. Impressive.
Did you want to say hi?
Hello.
And what school do you work at and what capacity?
I am an early childhood educator, and I've been at Colonel Cameron School for 10 years.
Awesome.
So,
welcome.
Thank you.
We also have Tressa Brown. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'll just do the same thing. I'm at what's now called Plimpton, Wyoming, but I've been in Wyoming at South Plimpton originally, and then I transferred over when it came to school.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have Carissa Houle joining us.
Hello.
Hi. Which school are you at?
I'm at High Park.
Awesome. And are you a teacher in EC?
A teacher, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody and welcome. And if anyone has any questions in the audience that we don't cover, just pop them into the chat, and Pam and Alicia are keeping an eye on that, and they'll ask as we go along. So I guess let's get started because it's 2:34. So my first question is, how did you get started? Like, first off, what kind of email did you need? Is it any Gmail, the children's LKDSB.com email? Maybe Karen, you could start us off.
Sure. The first thing that we did is we messaged our families about a week in advance of us wanting to do our first meet, telling them the intentions that we had, giving this a go. And we asked that families, if they already had a Gmail account, that was the way that you would be able to access this. And if they didn't, we had information on how to set up a Google account, because we've never used our kids' Googles. We did see, though, that we have a number of students that have older siblings, so they already have theirs. So when they logged in, we did see a lot of them use their older siblings' email addresses.
Okay. I like that, because then it kind of gives the parents the choice on what they would like to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my next question is, how did you get the kids connected? So when you reached out to the parents, did you say that you emailed them, or did you call them? Was it Seesaw? Maybe Tressa, do you want to hit that one?
Sure. So to get them connected, we actually just join the meeting and create one individual meeting, and then we take that, there's a code that pops up, and it's a link, and you highlight the link, and then we take that and we actually put it into just a note in Seesaw and send it out, so that sometimes we send it out to the whole class, sometimes we send it to certain people, and they then click on that, and that actually just takes them right to Google Meet. Now, we've also found that you don't actually have to put the whole thing in, just putting the last 6 letters, numbers within those, put those in, that will also have them go into it.
And are you automatically protected that way? You know, yeah, how passwords and people infiltrating, so.
Yeah, because we are controlling it and we are setting it, as you set it up, first thing you'll do is ask you to do a key, like a title or something. So, you know, you just sometimes I just put like meet, or I put in, you know, today, I would put in like today's meet, and that's the code. Now they could technically use that code to get in, but there's a link that Google Meet gives you, and we just highlight that and send that out. We don't give out the code of what it is, the title.
Okay.
In addition to that, I find too, if it's not an LKDSB email that the family is using, so if a family uses their personal email, which is fine, I have to give them access to the call. So when they call in, I actually get a pop-up that says allow or deny. So you can, if it's not an LKDSB, it'll automatically do that.
Oh, I like that.
So there's a little extra security there.
Yeah. And we've had other people that are not in Gmail still manage to get in through it. So it's not like the parents have to have a Gmail account to get in.
Nope, just any email.
Any email.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have
I thought it had to be Gmail at first, but like Tressa said, people were getting into the account or getting into the call without a Gmail. So.
Oh, that's really good to know.
So can I ask a question, Tressa and Karen? Are you guys creating your Google Meet codes with an iPad or through a laptop or a desktop?
I always do my Google Meets on a laptop. I like the grid view. And so when it's in, so then I take the code and then I pop it in from there. So I just do a cut and paste. I never use my iPad for it because I don't like, I like seeing the whole class, not just one. I highly recommend when you start your Google Meets that you get the grid view. And Karen actually has on Seesaw a click on how to do it all to get it. So I saw that the other day. Karen totally stole that for some of my parents. Thank you.
No problem.
But that will kind of teach you how to have the grid view. And I don't know, I'm sure Karen, I don't know what your feelings are, but I would never do a meet without grid view. It's so much easier.
Agreed.
So if you can get to a laptop, Chromebook, do it. If you have to do it from an iPad, it'll still work. You'll still be fine. It's just you don't get to see the whole class. You see them only as along the sides. It's not. So I usually don't use my iPad other than to make an invite or something like that.
I'm the same. I use my laptop too because I love getting to see all their little faces at the same time.
Okay. Sorry, Karen. I just put in this slide. I tried to create a Google Meet on my iPad in case. So these are the steps using the app. But I agree. Even when I'm in my meetings and I can't see everyone, it's not as it's not as nice not be able to see all the faces. So if you do have access to a laptop or a desktop, that's probably a better option to see the faces.
Alicia, if you go to the slide that you were just on, sorry.
Yeah.
If you go down the picture, the bottom right-hand picture, that's the thing that would have the code in it.
Yeah. So it says share joining info, and then you can just copy it.
Yeah, I just copy the line. I don't give them all that information.
Okay.
I just do the HTTPS one.
Okay.
I don't give them the whole thing just in case they try to use the pin, because if they use the pin, it actually will charge them.
Oh, good to know. So then when you go and you put it up as a send an announcement in your Seesaw, and you just put in the meeting URL and take out that other gobbledygook. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that.
And my partner told me today, my partner Molly Hendra, she told me you don't even actually have to do all that. You can even use at the very end, those last 6 letters or numbers will work too.
Good. Okay.
Okay, I have some questions, but before I start my questions, just to add on to what's been talking about, I know when you send out the links, kids can access them whenever you want. So do you send it out just before you start the meeting, or do you send it out? Okay. Yes. Okay, just curious and wondering, because I know once you send it out, or set up the room, it's there to access.
That's a good
whenever.
question. Can you imagine a bunch of kindergarten kids having their own?
Yes.
So that is, it actually is happening, just to clarify that. So like teachers have set up a Google Meet, like we have the same office number for Zoom. You can do the same thing for Google Meet, like have a recurring meeting, but then the kids have access to it. So it is a good check just to make sure, like, you know, giving a new code every meeting is actually a really good privacy consideration.
And we also go in early, obviously, and then we issue to the teachers first.
Okay.
To our prep providers, our principal, our lunch monitor, we issue to them, and then just before the meet, we get everyone access, and then we wait to the very end. We make everyone leave before we leave, so that they can't. Closed is closed.
Yes, that's good. Good tips. Thanks. So other questions we have are, when it comes to group size, do you guys do like small groups or is it whole class? Do you set like a time frame? Is it half an hour, or just however long it goes? And then how many meetings do you usually schedule? Like, is it like a weekly thing, bi-weekly, like, or I don't know. Carissa, maybe you could answer this question for us.
I don't know if I'm the best indication because I'm at High Park, so we're not getting as many kids as we did at the start. So our first one, we had a lot of our kids that we got to see, but we do it once a week. We do it on Friday, and we'll kind of have either the kids vote on the theme that we're going to do to get them excited, and or post a pic collage where we'll be like, it's crazy hair day, like make sure you come, and then it gets them a little bit pumped. And then we get we have about 7 or 8 students at this point, and we have our EA and our teaching partners all in the call at first, and then usually they slowly just start popping up.
Okay, good. Anyone else does anyone else want to add to that, or is it probably about the same? Like, do you all do small groups or large groups?
We've done everything. We've done a whole group. The largest group we had was 19 out of our 20 kids, and that was crazy. Long. So I wouldn't recommend it. And we tried small groups, and then we ended up only having like 2 or 3, and that's really intimate and a lot of fun. But if you don't have a good group of talkers, it's really painful.
Mm-hmm.
So we found inviting half the class. So we invite like 12 and 12, and that seems to be working best for us. Now, sometimes we've let them choose. Sometimes we've let them just drop in. And it kind of has worked out. Sometimes it's kind of been everything. But I have to say, like, you never know. You can have them meet, and you can have who you think you're going to have in, and then you'll end up with, like today we had a meet with 16, and then we had a meet with 3. So it kind of never knows. Like, you never know when they're going to kind of get who you're going to get.
Yeah, I guess you take what you can get, right? How long do your meetings usually last, or do you like set a time frame? Like, are they like you set half an hour, or is it just?
We've only been doing 1 a week until this week. We decided we would try 2, and we've been doing on Friday afternoons to start, because our classroom is still pretty new too. This is only the 3rd week we've been doing it. And the first 2 that we did, we put a kind of a 15 to 20 minute time limit on the note that went through Seesaw, just to make sure that we kind of had a time frame for us. But then we did a second one. We put out a survey to our parents, kind of looking for another day and time that might work, to see if we could get some different faces, because we were getting about 10 to 12 of our 28 kids. So we ended up doing a second one on Monday this week in the afternoon, and we only ended up with 6. But because we had such a small group, we actually ended up being on there longer. We did a little talking about what the warm weather was bringing to us, and then we ended up, everybody wanted to sing. All right, we have a class that loves to sing, so we let them each pick a song, and we ended up singing 6 different songs. But then we ended up being on the call for about 30 minutes. So, but for us, we had the time for that. There was no constraints, so we were okay with that. But usually we just put that 15 to 20 minutes out there, just so we make sure that parents kind of know we're not looking to take your kids for an hour, but we want at least this amount of time, so that way they have a heads up too.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, we have Leanne from the chat has shared too that they have 2 a week, a Tuesday morning and a Thursday afternoon. And the idea behind that is so they can have families have an option to sign. So I thought that was, and your idea of having the survey, I thought that was really interesting too, to get that feedback from families, what suits them.
Yeah, we've had parents kind of pick what works for them. We've even tried a later in the evening one. But actually, the parents said they do it, but they weren't really too keen on it. A lot of our families were more during the day. But we just find that, we do one kind of theme a week. We kind of make it what one thing for them to visit into. But we aim for 30 minutes. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It kind of is what it is, and it depends on how much the parents need and the families need. We go with that. We roll with what they want.
That's awesome. That kind of leads me into expectations for Google Meet and what they might be. I saw someone post in the chat, what's your expectation for the parent? Yeah, just what do you hope to achieve from your meets?
Our Google Meets was just to try to connect at first, just try to get people interested in it, and then sneak the learning in as it goes. So, you know, we start talking, we'll start using, you know, the math words, or start mentioning other things, add into language, that kind of stuff. But mostly it's been trying to just kind of get them interested in being there. Our expectations are, you know, you got to have everyone's mic off. And we've been doing it for 6 weeks, and these kids are amazing. Our kids, they turn the mics off and on themselves. Parents might set them up, like, and we'll even say, oh, your video's a little off, move it over. So we kind of talk them through, and they're figuring it out. And they're pretty independent with it now. And even like just this last meet we did just today, one of the girls went to try to leave, and her parent wasn't in the room. So we talked her through how to turn it off. So we had parents at first with us, but most of them kind of just get the kids in, and the kids go on their own.
That's awesome.
How long that kind of takes to get going? I know, Carissa, you and I had kind of talked about this a little bit. How long does it take to kind of get that routine and the expectations? Because we know it's going to be chaos in the beginning, but how long until it kind of ironed itself out?
Honestly, our class was like the first time. They were actually surprisingly, because we had laid out the expectations in a note in Seesaw prior. We said, we would love for you to join us. When you come in, say hello, and then we'd like you to put your mic on mute. And then when we start going through whatever activity we were going to do, we will call on your name, and then you can unmute yourself, and it'll be your turn to go. And that seemed to work really well for our class.
We had kids where they're so used to in class, like kind of putting their hand up. So they would get so excited to share, and then they would try to press, like they knew how to unmute themselves at this point. So that's why we added the expectation too, that if you want to talk but someone's talking, make sure you're doing attentive listening and your hand is up. So we had all these like cute little hands waiting. But that seems the first 2 times we found everyone was so excited to see each other that, well, at first they looked like a deer in headlights. And then when they got enough confidence, they wanted to really all talk at once. So we made sure, like, after they figured out the muting, that like you need to be patient and take your turns and share. And we always start with them sharing whatever they want to share, whether it's our theme, or if like a kid would come up with all their Pokemon cards and wants to share, we like get all their sillies out like we would normally at the carpet. And then finally, when they've all kind of felt they got to share something, then that's when we get into whatever teaching we wanted to do or whatever we wanted to discuss.
Oh, that's awesome. Time to be brutally honest. I want to hear some problems that you guys have encountered, so I know what to expect.
Well, I came into today's Zoom meeting ranting because I had just finished a horrible session, a horrible session, and it had nothing to do with the children. It had to totally do with Google Meets, and I were fighting all day. My partner, I was having to leave the meeting, and she was taking over. And then my husband at one point was having to log in on another computer. I was glitching. We were having a war. It seems what we can figure out is that if you enable Google Meet in your Google account, and then you have it also access in Google itself, like on a Chromebook or something, the two were fighting. So as soon as the two started to fight, it caused a whole strange glitch of things. So we just enabled our one in our account, and it fixed everything. But there's been some horrible glitches and things. And I halfway through the meet today, I also got kicked out. No idea what happened. and then I got to come back. So today was not a good day for our Google Meet, but we still did it.
Thank you for your honesty.
We had where we wanted to introduce our pet frog that we were learning about. So Sharon McKenzie, who's in our classroom, she was bringing this frog to the screen, and it like is bouncing and flying all over her screen and all over her area. And then I thought, well, just to distract the kids, maybe we'll all sing a song together in unison while everyone's glitching. So then don't ever do that also, because everyone was off at different times and we're all like 5 lips back up, and everyone was all at different timings too. So I would say that might have been our fail one, but we were all laughing. Obviously, it's all these crazy things that happen. And obviously your kids come in where you're trying to get some learning and they bring in all of a sudden an animal. Like we have kids just run up with a hamster in the middle of something. So we're used to that.
There's lots coming through in the chat from advice, be prepared for anything and everything to happen unexpectedly. Some kids were fighting, so that was happening. So muting your own mic or muting family mics is good. But
being able to actually meet people.
Interesting comment here about telling the parents like not to take over, just let their kids learn too. I'm sure there'll be a lot of managing that goes on with that. May I ask another question, just kind of an extension of this?
Sorry, I'm laughing at all the chats.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're awesome. So we'll come back to some ideas people have, but the idea of using Google Meets during your meeting your new JKs and throwing around. So we're just wondering if people are feeling comfortable that that's how they might meet the family of their new JK students. So again, you know, throwing that out there, you know, your audience kind of piece and how you might open that all up. Oh yeah, kids not wearing clothes. That would be funny.
Pam, in conjunction with that, because we've had some shy kids, we've invited siblings in. So we've invited older siblings to come help. I have one child who's a selective mute, so he doesn't talk. So I had his sister come, and so she was doing the talking with me, but technically he was talking to her, and so he was joining. But we've also had younger siblings. That's what I wanted to say. We've had quite a few younger siblings, and they're our future JKs. So we keep seeing them pop up in our things, and they're actually engaging, and you'll see in the background they're raising their hand too because they want to share. So it's, I think doing future JKs would be a great idea on Google Meet.
Mm-hmm.
So we have only about 4 minutes left. You guys are amazing, and all this information has been great. I did put up in the comments a while back the archive session for the Google Meets that was recorded earlier on. So if you're not sure how to get set up or just want some background information, it is on our elementary educator resource page, and the link to that is through our blog. So the link is in the chat, as I said, to get some more information. We're also going to take any ideas that have been shared by these wonderful panel members, and also through the chat. I will work on it this week, a Google Doc, and I will share the link with everybody so that you guys can keep adding kind of to the ideas. So if you do have any other ideas before the next 4 minutes or so that you want to throw up that you've used for Google Meets, I will get that started and share it for you next week as well.
I can only imagine the creativity with activities coming through. So things like I Spy has been a popular one, scavenger hunts. Tressa, you actually did invitation for some things that you did. So talk about a little provocation to get kids to join a meet. So I know you did a scavenger hunt. Anything else that you did?
Yes. Well, for our Google Meets, we send out basically it looks like a birthday invitation. That goes out usually on Monday or Sunday. I usually do Monday. This week I did Sunday, and I caused a whole bunch of confusion. Parents were trying to log in on the wrong day. I messed everyone up. But then the night before, I send out a little video. doing something. So like we did a Lego building. So I made them pick 100 pieces of Lego, come with it, and we build something from there. And for our Lego party. And then the night before, I convinced my son to do like a, hey guys, I'm excited about this, come join me for Lego kind of thing. We've done jewelry, we called it Bling It Up. So they made jewelry necklaces for their moms. We just finished a costume party. I commented about how if I can't, my Google Meet went late, I would be showing up in costume to this one. But luckily it didn't go late. Our scavenger hunt was the best one. It was the most fun because we made everyone participate, even the teachers, and the principal. So they're running, they're also leaving and running and getting something and coming back. So there's lots of fun things and different ideas. Science experiments. We're talking about doing maybe a food recipe one.
We did a teddy bear picnic. So, because that is and always will be my favorite day to do in the spring with the kids, is having them bring their favorite stuffy. So we just did that online. They each got to bring one, and then they took turns telling why their stuffy is their favorite, what makes them special, and then something they'd like to do with their stuffy. And then we would sing together with our stuffies. And then actually for that week, you would have caught me going around Corunna with my stuffed bear from my childhood, taking pictures of it with numbers for my number hunt. So there's a video out there of that somewhere. But we just incorporated it for the week. They did all these activities, and then they came and shared what they did with their stuffy. All of the staff, our principal brought a stuffy to the call. It was great.
Amazing. I think it's Erica's. I always wear a different hat. One session I wore a full horse head. Get them wanting to join and see what I'm wearing. That's amazing.
Amazing. Well, I would like to thank everyone who joined today. This was a great opportunity today to share, and lots of different voices. So I appreciate you all being here and sharing your ideas. Please don't forget, if you do have any thoughts or ideas that you would like to see in sessions coming up, or if you want to share more ideas for Google Meets or choice boards, don't forget there is the Google form there, or you can email us. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And big thank you to Karen and Jen for braving our panel that we had there. So thank you guys for that.
No problem.
Okay. And I hope everyone enjoys the beautiful weather.
Yes.
And no rain.
Yeah. Take some time for yourself.
Yeah.
Relax.
Absolutely. And
Awesome
we will
job, guys. Thank you.
hopefully next week.
Hey, so ladies, I just have a quick